Welcome back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon podcast. I'm your host, Perry. That sounded like I was hyping myself up for something. Welcome back if you're here returning. If not, welcome for the first time ever. What a great time for you to be here, as I'm telling you how you should be drinking Old Grandad 114, which is one of my favorite bourbons on the market. And we're going to be checking out some different options to give you for trying this one out. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I hope you've been well. I hope you had a good week. We are firmly into December at this point. We got a few weeks left before the year is wrapped up. I got some stuff planned for you guys that I'm really looking forward to. Some stuff that I have never done before, actually. With the podcast that I've been invited to go and do. And I'm very, very excited for it. So I can't talk about it just yet. Stay tuned for it. Still kind of working on planning it and everything, but it's going to be a great time. It's going to be slightly different from how I normally do main episodes of the podcast, but I can't wait. We're in the final planning stages for it, so stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say right now. But we'll get to it when we get to it. In the meantime, though, we're going to focus on this week's episode. And we start every episode off with a segment called Flying Blind, where I try something that I've never had before or haven't had in a while and need to be reminded about. And in this case, it is the latter, because as I'm kind of doing my own little mental prep for my best of episode, which will be coming out, I believe, right now, at the very beginning of the year, that December 7th episode, January 7th episode, which is that very first episode of the new year, I think is going to be my best of episode for 2025. That's my expectation at the moment. I don't think I want to put out the the best of episode on New Year's Eve. I think I'd rather put it out for the beginning of the year, which seems a little counterintuitive, but that's kind of where my head's at right now. But again, we'll focus on today's episode. So I'm doing all of this kind of like backtracking work and seeing if there's stuff that is still kind of standing out, or things that I made notes about at the beginning of the year as to whether or not they were going to be some of my like best of bourbons or whiskeys for down the line. And one of them that, I got a little choked up there. I needed to revisit because I haven't had it in a while, at least I don't think, was the Jack Daniel's 14, which is the barrel proof expression from their, what do they call it? The aged series? I don't remember what this series is actually called. But this is 126.3 proof, 14 years old. I remember this being absolutely my jam. I have not come back to it in quite a while from what I remember. I also don't have much of it left from my my media sample. I was hoping to find a bottle at some point during this year. And let me tell you, pickings have been slim. That being said, though, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of shopping or hunting this year. I have toned it way down when it comes to just buying stuff in general. So it could have been around and I just didn't know it. But that being said, though, I'm happy to. This is one of the things that I've tried to say about stuff on the okay, let me try to rephrase this. I am always of the mindset that, like, I don't necessarily need to own every bottle. Like, I get excited about releases, but I am more interested in at least tasting them, because to me, it's more important to have that experience of tasting it than it is to just outright have it on hand all the time. And like, I do love sharing stuff. I love being able to bring it over to people's houses, but at the end of the day, for me personally, I just like that I get the chance to try anything at least once, you know. And the honor of being sent the Jack Daniel's 14 was pretty crazy. I was very excited about it. I got kind of a lighter color for being a 14-year bourbon, but if you're watching the video version, you'll notice that it looks like it might be closer to 7 or 8 years old, at least. But it definitely smells like it's in the double-digit age range for sure. I mean, it smell, dude. It smells amazing. I don't remember what my score was at the beginning of the year, but you know who probably archived it is wow, I don't need this to be in full screen. Jared might have done that. Let me look. And yes, I do mean Jared from who is regularly. Oh, here it is. No, the furthest back he went was here. I'll show you guys. So, Jared, the regular dad, started a spreadsheet for TIMBP reviews, and I love having this on hand. I actually need to just favorite it so I can go back to it. And the spread that he's got on it right now is from episode 320 to 358. Well, really 357. And yeah, there's not anything from up to the this is a really nice spreadsheet. By the way. I really like this spreadsheet. Man, this is a very nice reference point. Thank you for I know I've said this before, but thank you for doing this, Jared. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, what I was trying to get at is that I don't have an immediate reference for what my score was for the 14 year earlier this year. It would take me a little while to go through it, and I don't have the time currently. But anyway, let's check this out. I'm spending too much time. Okay, it is a beast. It is, and maybe it's because my sample is low, but there is a lot. It's very alcohol forward at the moment. That being said, though, I mean, it's very oaky. It's very dark chocolatey. I mean, it's super in my ball house. But I love it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's my best of the year though. There's so so much stuff I've got to go back and look at. I just don't know what I genuinely don't know what's going to be my number one at this point. Like I'm kind of struggling with it at this point. And the thing is too, I always do this where I wind up trying more things than I review, and I have to I unfortunately this is the reason that I need to start actually I have a Substack, but I don't I haven't started posting there yet, and I just need to. But what I'm getting at is there's so much that I can't cram everything into the podcast. I mean, there's basically 50 episodes a year, and I just don't have time to review everything. So when I get into like my top 10, sometimes there are surprises. Like not everything gets a top 10 spot that's been on the podcast. I have to kind of explain it a little bit further. But anyway, that's more that's more explanation than I probably need to give. But beyond that, let's move on to what have I been drinking recently. And let me tell you, today, earlier in the day, we went to a little Christmas market in Lexington, which was nice. We just kind of hung out for a little while with my folks and my sister, Sarah. And then Lucy's mom came and hung out with us for a bit, too. Got some pictures of the girls. Had a couple drinks. I had just a bourbon and apple cider, which the bourbon was Old Bardstown, which I felt like I'm not going to talk about. Patreon knows my woes this week of Willet stuff. But yeah, I had that, and then I had a West 6 Christmas ale, which actually was really nice. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas ales in general, but this one this year, I mean, surely they don't do it the exact same every year, but this year's at least 9% ABV. Food pairings, hearty stews, caramelized desserts. I ate it with a grilled cheese, and it was fantastic. The grilled cheese itself was okay, but the beer was spectacular. But there are just some years where Christmas ales don't work for me, and this year's really did. Their tasting notes, which is covered up by my camera, I apologize. Big and bold winter warmer with the dark, sweet, and complex malt character, complemented by an array of spices with orange peel, nutmeg, and cinnamon coming to the forefront. West 6 was my first craft brewery that I latched onto, and it's the first one that has held a significant place in my heart. But I would say that it's not my favorite anymore. That is now Mere Twin Brewing in Lexington, which I went to with Tony Bag of Donuts and Kyle Weipert. Which, if you don't know Kyle and I met through Chad, My Daily Bourbon, and Kyle's been in the live stream chats a bunch. We've hung out a lot at Rare Character when we go to see Chad. Kyle came and hung out too at the It's Bourbon Night meetup. for a little bit when I was there. Have I talked about the It's Bourbon Night meetup? I don't think I did. I completely forgot to mention that I went to the bottle share on the last night of the meetup before I hung out with Kyle and Tony. Was that last weekend? It was 2 weekends ago from when I'm recording. Yeah. Yeah, went and saw a bunch of folks, new faces, old faces. Had the 2021 Four Roses limited edition small batch, which wound up being like everybody's favorite pour that night, which was crazy. And it was phenomenal. I mean, it was so, oh my gosh, it was so good. I wasn't there for very long. I was only there for a couple hours. Had to get home for bedtime. But then the next day, I got to hang out with Tony for a while, and we hung out with Kyle as well. And we went to Mere Twin Brewing in Lexington. Had my favorite Oktoberfest beer that's brewed locally, which I've talked about before. It's the Wade Boggs, which is crazy good. And split some food and just a great time overall. But yeah, I think I'm going to get Kyle on the show for an episode soon. So stay tuned for that. Extremely knowledgeable about bourbon and just a fantastic hang. So be on the lookout for Kyle's first appearance on the podcast before too long. Alrighty, folks, we are going to do one of my favorite things that I get to do on the podcast every now and then. Last time I did it with Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond 7-year-old, and this time doing it with one of my favorite bourbons that is readily available on the market for your consumption pleasure. Old Grandad 114, Jim Beam's High Rye Bourbon Mash Bill. Coming in, of course, at 114 proof. Non-age stated. But, as Breaking Bourbon points out, at least 4 years. Mash bill of 63% corn, 27% rye, 10% malted barley, MSRP of $35. I have reviewed this on the podcast before. It's been a long time, though. This was back in 2018 that we reviewed it. And the Jim Beam official website at beamdistilling.com says how to serve. Best served neat or over ice. Old Grandad 114 can also be used in any number of classic cocktails, calling for a fuller and higher proof spirit. We are going to put that to the test today, though, and we are going to check it out in 4 different methods. This is a way for me to not only revisit a bourbon or rye, but also to give you a basically just kind of a rundown on how you could potentially use any given bourbon in your daily drinking experiences. So what do I do here? I take these bourbons or ryes. Again, I think we've done rye one time, and it was the Old Forester 100 proof rye. And we put them into 4 different situations. Neat, splash of water, on the rocks, or rock, or whatever, and with Coke, or cola, whatever. I have opted to use, as I did previously, RC Cola. That's my preferred cola, at least. So, let's go ahead and start getting this prepared. I might skip through some of this because it can be a little tedious for the main channel, and I'll give Patreon some extra bonus content here while I'm doing it. All right, I have finished assembling my 4 pours, And we want to move into the first one, which is neat. Look at that. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Caramel apple, peanut, toasted marshmallow, graham cracker. Just a hint of honey on there too. But I absolutely adore this bourbon. This is one of the early. Could you hush? This is one of the early adopters for me of like going slightly higher, not slightly higher proof, but definitely higher proof. And also like, you know, even on like the cheaper side, I liked that it was more affordable, and readily available. And the funny thing too about Grandad 114 is that there are always like rumors that it's going to go away. And it's just not. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why people say that. When it's just it's always been there. I think that there were shortages at one point, maybe during like the pandemic. But it's there, man. Like it's around. I don't know. I know that people like Emily, friend of the show, has had trouble getting Granddad bonded. Is it bonded or is it 114? Emily, remind me. I can't remember. Send in a barrel ring and I'll talk about it next week. But regardless, though, it's nice to have this around here in Lexington. So, cheers, folks. Pour some. Let me know how you find this the best way to drink as well. This is just one guy's opinion. But it's also a myriad of ways to, try out a particular bourbon. It's bold. It's punchy. It's got an incredible mouthfeel. It's got like peanut brittle, peanut butter. I mean, it really is one of those perfect, like, you kind of automatically know where you would go with this in terms of tasting notes. Like it's almost 1-to-1 a Reese's cup. Reese's cup. Oh, I just upset some people. I'm sorry. It's very much like a Reese's cup. Because there are a lot of like darker notes on here too. But it's such a wonderful product. I think that I wonder what my experience with this would be if I had been like back in the day more familiar with the National Distillers version of this, and then it swapped over to like the Jim Beam side of things. What would I have thought? Would I be as big of a fan as I am? Just on its own, neat, without anything added. And I don't remember exactly what I rated it back on the episode that I did. When I reviewed with Chad Perkins from It's Bourbon Night and Bill Sheehy, what is the name of his old podcast? Skywalking Through the League, where he talked about Star Wars and the NBA. I don't know, is Bill, if you might be listening to the episode. Is your podcast still going? I don't even know. Oh, last updated in February of 2023. Oh. I don't know if when Bill used to be on another Star Wars podcast. Dang, we're still in the top. TIMBP is still in the top. Let me show you guys something real quick. Side tangent. In the top 1% of podcasts globally. It's because of you guys. It's because of you for supporting the show. For listening, for watching, for supporting the show. Thank you for that. It blows me away every time that I see that. I can't thank you enough. One of the things I didn't talk about earlier too was our Spotify Wrapped for this year. We had an unbelievable year of growth, at least on Spotify, despite things being just tumultuous, not even in really a bad way, but just like with all the changes the podcast has gone through. But according to Spotify, we saw an increase of 645% of our overall listening base. I don't even know how to process that other than just to say thank you. Like, for a show that's been going on for as long as it has, to have this many episodes and for people to still be interested in what we're doing, what I'm doing, unbelievable. That's crazy to me. And I just can't help but say thank you. Like, genuinely, this show means everything to me. I've been doing it weekly since 2017, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. I know I say that all the time, but I mean it, and I'm gonna keep doing this. And I love it, and I love y'all, and thank you so much for everything. This is unbelievable, man. It really is. But yeah. Let's move on to Splash of Water, which who's to say how much this has dropped it down. I only did like a couple of it wasn't even a full like pipette full. And here's my my Glencairn pipette, by the way, which if you've never seen one of these, this is an official Glencairn pipette that was sent to me by Mike Schneider, who we'll talk about a little bit later in the show as well. And it was like not even a full pipette of water that went into this. So it might be closer to like, I don't know, 107, 105 proof. But I can safely say I have never had one Granddad 114 on the rocks or with a splash of water. This is the first time I'm trying it outside, really of neat. And I probably have had this in an old fashioned at some point, but I can't remember for sure. Who's to say? The water has brought out some like fruit notes, oddly enough. It's a lot more floral than it was just neat. And it's not like buttery smooth, but like there is a note on here that is like butter. Like melted butter. We were watching Only Murders in the Building last night, and there's something about that show that makes me just crave popcorn. And Lucy, my wife, makes incredible stovetop popcorn, and she had already kind of settled in, and I was like, do you think I could make your stovetop popcorn? And she was like, no. And so that just dropped the conversation altogether. I was like, I really want the popcorn. Do you think I can make it? And she was like, no, you can't. And I was like, all right. That was the full end of the conversation. She was sweet about it, though. She was not being rude or anything. Grandad 114 with a splash of water. Kind of goes hard, man. There's something there. I don't mind that at all. It makes it citrusy and a little bready. It brings out that honey note that I was talking about earlier, too. I am not mad at that in the slightest. I think that if you've never tried Grandad 114 with a splash of water, you should. Here's my thing, though. It removes the darker notes that just neat give it. But that being said, I mean, this almost drinks like a completely different whiskey. Like, I would have a hard time identifying this as the high rye flavor bomb that Old Grandad 114 actually is. But it's still a genuinely enjoyable flavor profile. There's like a melon note on there too. I don't know. It's interesting. Resetting the palate with a little bit of liquid death before we dive into the On the Rock version. I was telling Patreon before we cut back that I have these. I'll show this for the video watchers. I have these ice molds that make Death Stars from Star Wars, and one of them came out perfect. Like near perfect. And the other one somehow was half full, and I don't know why. It made absolutely no sense to me. So this one's been melted a little bit, nice and chilled. Let's check it out. While yes, it smells like bourbon that's been chilled, it definitely still maintains some of that high rye flavor bomb that Grandad 114 is. It's made it very fragrant in terms of something that would be more along the lines of like perfume. There is where I get this like honeydew melon note on the nose. It's again in a place where I would feel very challenged to identify this as Old Grandad 114, at least on the nose. On the rock, transformative, at least at this point. Strangely enough, the finish is kind of nice, but the palate is just dead. There's just nothing going on the palate. I mean, I may as well just be drinking water based on that first sip. Second sip's not much better. A lot of barrel char, a lot of... I mean, it really kind of feels like you're standing around like an open flame. And you're getting notes of, I don't know, like campfire. But the finish has a nice like toasted bread note to it. Not my favorite, but acceptable at least. I could maybe see this being acceptable if you're like in warmer climates, maybe. But I think that the problem here is that it just completely erases what makes Grandad 114 special and enjoyable for what it is, which is a massive bourbon. And for it being, non-age stated, I just would like to know. I mean, it feels like it's, 6 or 7 years old. But it definitely drinks way above its weight class, for whatever it is. So let's move on to now with cola. Again, just in case you missed it or you've forgotten since then, because it's been a minute. It's with RC Cola, who on the previous one, I always try to make an Instagram post for new episodes. Sometimes I fall short of that. I tagged them in that post when I did another Best Way to Drink episode, and they liked it. So thank you, RC Cola. I hope you listen to these episodes and you like what I'm doing and you throw a sponsorship my way. That would be a lot of fun to get sponsored by a cola brand. On the nose, it smells like bourbon and cola. Hooray. I'm leaving all that in because it was a weird noise and I thought it was kind of funny. Hello? I think I might have just found my favorite bourbon and cola. Grandad 114 and RC Cola? It's like drinking a peanut butter cola. This is insanely good. Oh, I want to. Oh, this is the first time where truly I feel like I have made a discovery during one of these episodes. Like previously, it's been like, oh, okay, that's a really good like bourbon and cola, bourbon and Coke, or like it kind of like loses its luster. This genuinely feels like revolutionary. It's not. It's it is what it is. But I am straight up flabbergasted at how good this is. I want to just like put out a post on social media that says, everybody stop what you're doing right now and get a bottle of Grandad 114 and an RC Cola and make a bourbon and Coke or whatever. I friggin' love this. Is this the best way to drink Grandad 114? In my opinion, maybe not, because I'm not normally like a bourbon and cola, bourbon and Coke kind of guy. I'm typically going to drink it neat, but I love this discovery. This is crazy. I also don't typically, like, peek behind the scenes. When I do these episodes, I don't typically finish all of these drinks because there's a lot like all at once. But I think I'm gonna finish this one. So here's what I'll do. And I typically try to rank these anyway. But I'm gonna rank these from least favorite to favorite. Least favorite on ice. I just don't think it's doing anything for me in general. I think that it's kind of just flat and uninteresting. I'll give it another taste just for. Yeah, I mean it really does have that like honeydew melon note, which I'm already not a huge fan of. And I think is okay. But there's not much to it, honestly. Um that's my least favorite. Next, I think is gonna be with water. Still really good. It's so funny because like the last place is so far behind everything else. Um I'm just like so frustrated with how on ice or on the rocks um it destroyed the palate that everything else feels like it's it feels like it's something that's if I feel like I'm being parched after being in the desert. Is that the right phrasing? No, I feel like I'm being quenched after being in the desert. There we go. Um okay, I'm going to do a little head to head here because I need to know if I truly do prefer Granddad 114 neat or with RC Cola. It's just so classic. It's just so good neat. No, I'm this is the first time I have ever said this on a best way to drink episode. But the best way to drink Old Granddad 114 is with RC Cola. It is fantastic neat. It's still going to be probably the way that I normally drink it. But just the slight flavor boost that it gets by putting it into what is, I mean, ostensibly like a mixed drink is so nice. I cannot believe that. That's why we do these episodes. Because we got to know, somebody's got to do the work. I'm the guy. I'm the one who has been, blessed with the task of letting you know what the best way to drink your Old Granddad 114 is. And, drink it with RC Cola or Coke Zero or whatever. I don't care. But they also make a RC Cola Zero, which I haven't tried yet. I'd like to do an episode of like mixing RC Colas with bourbon. I think I talked about this last time I did Best Way to Drink. Seeing how that works out. Or like best colas to mix with bourbon, something like that. Who's to say? But the very first time I have ever said that the best way to drink a bourbon or rye on the show is with a cola. It's crazy. It feels wrong because we should be saying just drink it neat. Just drink it neat. But here we are. Anyway. Might be controversial. I don't want to be politically correct. But I do want to move on to a segment of the show that you may or may not know. It's called Barrel Rings. that you can actually be a part of by submitting a voicemail message or a text message to our hotline. It's 859-428-8253. Send it in. We'll listen to it live on air or read it out. And we got one this week. It's from our buddy, Mike Schneider. Schneider.
Hey, Perry, it's Mike Schneider. I just wondered, is Perry short for something like periwinkle? Periwinkle was always one of my favorite colors in the box of 64 Crayolas. Anywho, I digress. I am sitting out here in the overcast and breezy Northern California day, putting up Christmas decorations and wondering what I'm going to have to keep myself warm for the rest of this. What is your Christmas decoration, especially outside, plan? And what do you plan, or what did you sip on to keep yourself warm in the chilly Kentucky air? Anyhow, if I don't talk to you, have a great holiday season. Bye.
Mike, as always, great to hear from you. Two things. Maybe more than two things. I don't know. Perry is not short for anything. Perry was my grandfather's name. So I am named after Perry Ritter, who was my grandfather. And someday I will tell the full story of how I was named Perry. But today is not that day. Eventually I will talk about that on the podcast, but I'm not at liberty to discuss that right now. It's not a state of mind thing or anything. It's just if and when the podcast ever ends, that's when I will talk about it. That sounds weird, but it's a privacy thing. And I don't know how to fully. Well, we'll talk about it when the time comes. But I was named after my grandfather, who was Perry Ritter. I do love the color periwinkle, though. It is genuinely a beautiful color to me. And somehow I think like somewhere in the back of my mind, probably like an inspiration for the podcast color scheme. Like it's not too dissimilar from the blue that I use for the podcast blue. That like kind of baby blue, almost periwinkle. But to answer your question about what am I sipping on to keep myself warm for putting up Christmas decorations, I'm gonna be lame here. My wife does most of the Christmas decorating. I don't mean to be that guy. But that's kind of how it is around the house here. She takes the initiation, the incentive to beautify the house when it comes to holidays. I do what I can to support those endeavors as best I can. Like, we have very active animals as well. So if they get into some of the decorations inside, we're not really outdoor decorating people. We're more indoor decorating for the most part. So if they have messed anything up, I try to assist and make it right, I suppose. Also, I'm rectifying my that sounded like pee. That just genuinely sounded like pee. I'm trying to rectify my bourbon and Coke or bourbon and cola, and give it a little bit more Granddad 114, so I can sip on it for a bit longer, because I didn't pour all of the RC in there. But I do what I can to assist. I have a very specific set of skills in the house, and those involve taking care of what I can, and paying our insane utility bills. Anywho, let's move on. I don't think I have any high proof hot takes this week. I do have tips and bits though, which is the segment of the show where I recommend things that I want you to watch, read, listen to, enjoy, that I think you would also benefit from if you were to partake in. And let me pull my notes app up first. I'm gonna let's see, which ones do I want to recommend this week? Do I want to go silly or do I want to go serious? Let's go. You know what? Let's go one. We'll do one silly, one serious. I'll do serious first. So I am always in a state of, as a fairly new parent, and I know that is something that people are, maybe curiously wondering about if you're not a parent, asking yourself why are you qualifying it in that way, when you have a 5-year-old. Well, you're constantly learning and you're constantly questioning whether or not you are doing what is ostensibly like the right thing. Okay. And there are two minds that you have in this case. The first one is, I am in the middle of dealing with whatever the situation is that is at hand. And the second one is, did I handle that correctly? And that second mind is always the most confrontational. And so with that confrontational part of your brain, as a parent, you're going, how do I improve upon being a parent? And I think that, like, if you do have that mindset, you're automatically a good parent. But there are steps to becoming a better parent and in invocating better kids too, and better people. Like, what we're doing as parents is not raising good kids. We're trying to raise good people at the end of the day and improve upon who we felt like we were raised as when we were brought up. And that's not the core of what I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at is, there are always sources of maybe inspiration or help or support that you can find all over the place. And for me, one of them has been I'm sure they're elsewhere, but for better or for worse, I'm still on Facebook, right? And there has been a Facebook page that I have somehow stumbled upon called Nurtured First. Nurtured First is the I'm trying to enunciate better here. And I love what they do with their page because they are parents. It's primarily run by the mother of this family. And I believe she's also a psychologist and helps to lay out exactly the mindset and the way that kids respond to parenting in certain situations. So if you're loud while the kid is upset, how does the kid respond to that? And how does the kid respond to that when they are also a parent in 30 years? And to me, the way that works is, well, how did I think about the way that my parents responded to me when I was in tough situations when I was a kid? And backing off of that in certain aspects and trying to restructure it and rebuild it and find ways to reconfigure your method of parenting. And it's been so helpful for me to and I have been dealing with a lot of frustration with my parenting, and I think that for those of us who are parents, especially with younger kids, understanding what kids do go through, and I have always hoped that I can relate more to my kids than I felt like my parents related to me. So in that essence, building quietly or otherwise a fortress for my kids to feel comfortable and not feeling like, outside help is defeat. And I don't think it is. I think that the vulnerability of willing to seek out, professional help is beneficial to your work as a parent. And that's kind of where I am mentally at the moment. So Nurtured First, they tell these great, very like vulnerable stories about, how you feel as a parent, how your kids might feel in tough situations. And I highly, highly recommend them. A silly recommendation, though, is a re-upload that happens every year from my favorite Australian comedy troupe. Yeah, troupe. Which is Antidana. Zach, Mark, and Broden. And every year, for some reason, that is so good on Coke. So good with the RC Cola. I don't remember the first year that they uploaded this to YouTube. But every year, they re-upload one of their best skits, even though it's insane, called Christmas Pud. It's bizarre, it's absurdist, and they just re-uploaded it for 2025. And I recommend that you go and watch it, because if you've never seen it before, It's very funny. And you can also, I believe, buy the children's book version of it too. Which I haven't done yet, but I need to. It's just silly. It's silly stuff. And it's good. I love Auntie Donna so much. They just did a US tour, which I missed. I wasn't able to go to. But they've got a Netflix show. They did a show for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC. I didn't say ABC first because I knew that you were going to be confused by it. You can use a VPN, or maybe it's actually on Netflix now. It might be. I don't remember. But their Netflix show is fantastic, and there's a myriad of YouTube skits that they've done that I will never stop recommending to people. But all that being said, it's the end of this episode. I'm tired. Best way to drink episodes to kind of take it out of me sometimes. But I love you all so much. Thank you, as always, for supporting the show. Like I said earlier, too, the growth that we have seen this year with TIMBP has been unbelievable. Whether that's just through listenership or sharing of the podcast, telling your friends about it. I mean, honestly, that's the best way to do it. Send your friends a link to the show so they can listen to it. I know it's just me these days. I know that I know I'm trying my best to keep it together, but I'm doing what I can, man. And I love this show. I will fight for it until the last listener waves the white flag. But if you want to support the show in all its many forms, you can head to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, that gets you access to our Discord. But from $5 and up, there's bonus content over there. That happens every single week. Bonus episodes, stuff like that. You can follow the show on social media at MyBourbonPod. You can also follow me personally at pritter1792. You can also send questions or comments to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. You might be asking yourself, why the heck, Perry, is it called thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com? Well, I'll tell you why. Because back in 2017, when I was first trying to get into this whole daggum field, I originally started an apparel and merchandise store, which is still around and is primarily focused nowadays on the podcast itself. And you can still access it. It's bourbonshop.threadless.com. There are plenty of shirts over there. There is also a lot of accessories. There's hats, there's stickers, there's mugs, there's pouches, scarves, beach towels, skateboards. The skateboards was a fun... back in the day, it was fun to try to get people to buy the skateboards, and I think that there have been a total of 2 sold since then, but the holiday collection is live as well. There's the Santa's Favorite Bourbon Drinker shirt, Christmas is for Bourbon, and Christmas morning means bourbon mug, which you can get and drink bourbon out of when you are opening presents with your family or just on your own. But once again, that is bourbonshop.threadless.com. Link is in the description, as is everything that I talk about with the plugs here at this point in the show. You can also send stuff to our P.O. Box. P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky, 40522. Bottles, mail, samples, whatever. I'm going to take another little sip here of this bourbon and cola. I love it so much. It's so good. Barrel rings we talked about earlier. 859-428-8253. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a text right from your mobile device. And then last but not least, leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. And I'll read it out here on the show. Still no response from JC Shaw 47 or Frankie N about where to send samples that I asked them to send me for a couple months ago, back in September at this point. But that does it for this week's episode of the podcast. I hope you all tune in next week as well. Did I say that next week is going to be the one with the guest? Maybe the week after. I don't know just yet. Next week might be the special episode, depending on how things go with planning. But regardless, love you so much. Thank you as always for everything. I will see you then. Until next time, though, I am Perry, and this is my Bourbon Podcast.